The manhunt is over. A year and a half after a brutal murder here at City College, the alleged killer is behind bars. We have all the details from both sides of the border.
And the family of Diana Gonzalez reacts to the arrest of her alleged killer. We sat down with Diana's mother and we'll bring you the emotional interview.
Plus, tragedy for family members coping with a helicopter crash in Yuma that kills 6 local Marines. We'll bring you the story on what happened.
Snowstorms hit Chicago today. I'll have more on that and tell you how it's looking here in San Diego. Newscene starts right now.
Hello, welcome to this edition of Newscene. I'm Alice Kim.
And I'm Laura Caplan-Nieto. Thank you for joining us.
October 2010, the unthinkable left everyone in shock here at City College. 19-year-old nursing student Diana Gonzalez was stabbed to death inside a men's bathroom on campus. The suspect, her estranged husband Armando Perez, was also the father of her 10-month-old daughter. Perez had been stalking Diana for months, and despite a restraining order and a 3-day kidnapping and rape, prosecutors declined to file charges. Tonight we begin extensive coverage, beginning with the suspect's arrest. The emotional confrontation comes after the victim's mother, who was not expecting to come face to face with her daughter's alleged killer. With more than a year of freedom, Armando Perez, a fugitive wanted in connection with the death of his estranged wife Diana Gonzalez, has been arrested in downtown Tijuana this week. His arrest made front-page headlines in almost every newspaper sold in Tijuana. The images show a leaner and bruised Perez. Police say he fought hard not to give up the free life he had for months.
Gente que teníamos nosotros de civil, undercover, ahí lo localizaron. Es un hombre joven de 37 años, bastante fuerte. Se resistió a que lo detuviéramos. Hay fronteras en Tijuana. Hay muchas situaciones, pero para los criminales no hay fronteras. Y para ellos se les hace fácil venir o ir. Entonces los policías, las agencias de seguridad de California y las de Tijuana y Baja California, tenemos que trabajar muy cercanos y con mucha comunicación.
Cops say he had 8 to 9 different living locations and was working as a DJ, a mechanic, and a carpenter to survive. Tijuana authorities continue to follow tips of Perez's whereabouts, eventually leading them to his favorite clubs and a taco joint.
Entonces pusimos gente de inteligencia en los tacos, pusimos gente que para empezarlo a buscar, y el día sábado, aproximadamente a las 2 de la mañana, tuvimos la información que estaba por la Avenida Revolución y que iba a cobrar un dinero cerca de la calle Séptima y Revolución.
A case with no closure for 16 long months. Questions can now be asked and answered as first steps to recovery can be made to make up for the loss the family had to accept on the tragic night. As far as what will happen next to Armando Perez, the information on the extradition process and what the U.S. Marshal has to say, we'll have more on that later in the newscast.
Diana's family has been living with her tragic death for over a year, but with Perez now in custody, they are facing new emotions. Newscene asked Diana's mother how she carries on.
A nightmare for almost any parent is the thought of losing a child. This scenario became a tragic reality for the family of slain San Diego City College student Diana Gonzalez. Now just over a year since her daughter's brutal murder, Concepcion Carranza is coping the best way she knows how.
Diario rezo y estoy, Dios mío, ayúdame, tú sabes.
Talking to Diana also helps.
Hablo con Diana y le pido a ella que me ayude.
But her most compelling reason for facing each day is caring for the 2-year-old toddler Diana left behind, Crystal.
Cristal para mí es como mi hija. Yo le digo a mi esposo que si no la tuviera ella, a lo mejor yo no estuviera aquí sentada, aquí donde estoy.
One person Carranza doesn't talk about is Crystal's father, Armando Perez, her ex-son-in-law, the man accused in Diana's slaying.
No, pues nomás siempre, ahorita que ya estoy más tranquila, pues si quisiera pues golpearlo y hacerle cosas, pero el día que lo vi en el momento, pues nomás no sé, nomás pensé en decirle que por qué le hizo eso a Diana. Digo, pues mi hija no era mala, ella era una muchacha buena.
The arrest may bring justice, but it also forces Carranza to relive the pain. As far as Armando's fate is concerned, Carranza is clear.
A mí me gustaría que le dieran la pena de muerte.
This feeling poses a conflict and is something she talks to God about.
Yo sé que yo no soy quien para juzgar, ¿verdad? Ahí está Dios, pero yo pienso que como dice el dicho, muerto el perro, se acabó la rabia.
With Cecilia Castro, this is Alex Miller-Pastore, Newscene.
Deanna's family also expressed relief that with her alleged killer now caught, any other potential victims will now be spared.
Now that Armando Perez is in custody, the process to close this case has only just begun. Perez is in Mexico City awaiting the extradition process, and Tijuana police handed the suspect over to the country's federal investigation agency earlier this week. Once he goes through a court process and hearing in Mexico, he will be legally extraditable. The supervisory deputy U.S. Marshal explained where the case goes from that point.
We were going to send some deputy U.S. Marshals down to Mexico City to fly him back to San Diego, at which time he'll be booked into county jail and go through the homicide proceedings here.
Deputies say it can take just a few months or up to years before the suspect is back in the U.S. If convicted, Perez faces life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Throughout the week, City College students have been buzzing about Perez's arrest. They've also expressed mixed feelings about campus safety. Amanda Brandeis reports.
After 16 months, a family and a school has finally found some closure from the arrest of Armando Perez, who's accused of taking the life of his estranged wife, Diana Gonzalez. It happened on City College campus.
It breaks my heart that such a thing could happen in such a public place.
The tragedy has affected many City College students. It reminds them that this could happen to anyone.
It saddened me as a parent and as a mother.
Anybody, anywhere, it just depends.
But the capture of Perez has eased some of that anger and sadness.
I feel that justice has been served and that it's going to be nice for her family to know that he's not out there doing this to other people.
Many students say that despite the tragedy, they feel safe on campus.
Things like that can happen anywhere. It's not just because it was the school campus. You just, you have to be aware of your surroundings, and at nighttime use the buddy system.
After the incident, important safety changes were made.
This is the restroom where Diana Gonzalez was murdered. Back then, this area was barely lit.
We're an amazingly safe place. We have an incredibly low crime rate here, and it's almost all petty. No crimes against people, no assaults or batteries, rapes, those sorts of things that just don't occur.
President Burgess believes the district has a first-rate police force. Although budget cuts have impacted the school, they have not affected police operations. He also talks about ongoing renovations in infrastructure projects. In addition to enhancing lighting, there are plans to install security cameras. But changes take time. It will be 3 years until everything is complete. And despite all of the improvements, some students have doubts.
It's really in the middle of downtown. There's people, it's open campus. Anyone can come in, anyone can come out. Sometimes it makes me think, should I take classes in the morning? Should I take classes at night?
Jeanette Gonzalez, Deanna's sister, says she would fear going to City College.
My dad, you know, when he will go to pick up my sister, he said there was nobody there. Like, he will never see any police, nobody there. So, I mean, to me, like, even if I would think of going to, you know, to college, I will think about it like 10 times now, you know, to go there.
Deanna's story can never have a happy ending. Although she could not be saved, changes being made now have the potential to help many in the future. Reporting for Newscene, I'm Amanda Brandeis.
City officials urge students to use the campus escort service at night. That number is 619-388-3461.
And after the break, the Vagina Monologues are coming to City College and raising awareness about domestic violence.
Also, 7 Marines are dead after a tragic accident. Find out what went wrong.
Rob, what's up? How's it going? Guys, this is my